Okay. Let me just check something. And we are live, guys, I believe. So welcome to the Chicago Conservative live stream edition, guys. Sorry I didn't go live yesterday. I got caught up at work and things like that. You know how Mondays get. But today we're going to be reacting to Stephen A. Smith, and I believe he's saying he's going to run for president. I'm not sure how true this is. That's why I got to see for myself, guys. And I just want to react to this with you guys. So, I mean, my personal take before this even starts, Stephen A. definitely should not run for president. I don't know a single, well, some people might vote for him. I'm not going to lie. Some people might vote for him, but I just don't think he'll be a good fit for president, especially for the Democratic Party. Like, they already suck. They don't need a sports commentator, running for president, but that's just my take. And then he's a clear grifter. He's clearly a grifter, guys. I don't see how anybody don't see this when it comes to Stephen A. Smith. I mean, he's left, right, center, like he's wherever you want him to be, basically, wherever the money is. So without further ado, guys, let's just get right into it. Roll the clip. And obviously, if he talk about any basketball stuff, anything like that, we're going to skip. So.
Steph Curry scored more or less than 25 points. I don't know what the heck. Still 7 books.
Okay.
Less than 10.5. What point he'll score?
Oh.
Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down.
These doggone ads and stuff be killing me.
I have no desire to be a politician. My life is pretty well. But I've decided I'm no longer going to close that door. I'm going to keep my options open. I'm going to entertain the possibility. And if it comes in 2020, late 2026, 2027, where I look at this country and I think it's an absolute mess and there's legitimate reason to believe, whether it's via...
Why would you think the country would be a mess under Donald Trump, Stephen A. Smith? It's not going to be a mess in 2026, 2027, because... And this is why you're going to get 2 laughs today, guys, because we're going to talk about tariffs and how it actually benefits the country, guys. But like I said, I don't think the country's going to be bad in 2027. Yeah, he's definitely talking crazy, but I don't know if he's talking about the Democratic Party or not, but let's just see, because they're the only ones that's inciting violence in my eyes.
Exploratory committees or anything else that I indeed would have a legitimate shot to win the presidency of the United States, I am not going to rule it out, and I'm not playing.
All right, man. Let's
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do over the digital airwaves of YouTube and, of course, iHeartRadio at the very least 3 times a week. As always, I'd like to take a moment to thank and show gratitude to my listeners and my subscribers over the iHeartRadio platform. We've received millions of downloads over the last.
Just get to the
love and support enough. My New York Times best-selling.
Sorry,
I stand
guys.
on a few things in life. It's clearly necessary in light of the headlines that have been scurrying all over the place over the last 24 hours. That's where we're going to get started. Headlines made by yours truly, specifically yesterday at the National Association of Broadcasters Conference in Las Vegas, Nevada. I was sitting down for a conversation, fireside chat, with Mike McVeigh, president of McVeigh Media, somebody who's been a mentor and a friend to me for years, helped me resurrect my career in this business after I was gone in 2009. He asked me about my future as a potential presidential candidate for the Democratic Party. For those,
basically, somebody's geeking your head up to run for president, Stephen A. This is absolutely stunning. That's basically what he's saying. Like 3 words, and all I'm hearing is ego, bro. So that's why you won't rule it out because somebody said so. Okay, man.
Those of you who didn't see it, here's more of my response, piggybacking off of that cold open you just saw.
That is right.
To those very questions. Listen up right here.
Yeah, Obama,
I just think that it's a mess right now. I'm not scared. There's a lot that I have to learn. I am no aficionado, make no mistake about it. But damn it, let me hunker down for 2 or 3 months. I'll know the issues. And once that happens, then imagining me on a debate stage with these people, these politicians, this is what I do for a living. And if for no other reason than to stand on the debate stage.
Dude, you talk about basketballs. See, now we're starting to get into the delusion, guys. Now you guys see where I'm coming from. Yes, this is what you do for a living, but you're talking about basketball. A majority of your finals picks were wrong, Stephen A. Yes, I do used to be a big basketball fan. Majority of your final picks were wrong. What are you talking about? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, these people do not even know what they be talking about. These sports analysts, I'm going to just tell you guys something. The main job of these sports analysts, their main job is to predict the finals and predict who's going to win the championship. That's their job. He majority got this wrong. So I don't know who this guy be thinking he be talking to, but the people with common sense know that you really aren't good at your job. You just like to yell and debate. But yes, I mean, that's good for television. But when it comes down to it, you really aren't good at your job, Stephen A. You're entertaining, don't get me wrong, but no. And for you to sit here and say, oh, I'm going to debate about politics. Yeah, this is what I do for a living. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Run in California then. See how you do against Gavin Newsom. People probably would vote for you over Gavin Newsom. I'm not going to lie.
With tens of millions of people watching, where I get to sit back and talk about what you've been doing as politicians to literally dissipate and disintegrate the quality of America before our very eyes because of your own selfishness.
Dude, just because you're in a group chat with Sean Hannity and Chris Cuomo, that doesn't mean anything, bro. All you do is just get two perspectives from the right and the left, and you come to your own conclusions. Or you just take their talking points. Nobody cares, all right, Stephen A. We know your moves, all right, brother.
Me having an opportunity to do that, that is what I mean when I say I will eat them alive. I am not a politician. I don't have a political record for them to lean on. They all do, which means I get to look at your record and what you've done and challenge whether you can legitimately say,
I agree.
not just with the cameras rolling, but in front of my face, that you actually operated on behalf of what was in the best interest of all of America. Who's going to pull that off in my face? Good luck with that. I wish they would.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to sit up here and tell you that I didn't mean what I said, but I do. And I think the time has arrived to let you all know. This is not something that I planned, contrary to people.
I'm sorry. It's so hard to take this seriously, guys. This dude really think he's gonna. I mean, look, he can do whatever he wants. You know what I'm saying? He's an American. You know, he pays his taxes, things like that. But, bro, Stephen A. Smith running for president is gonna be the biggest joke in this country, man. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
People bloviating out there on their podcast.
I understand, like Obama, you know what I'm saying? He half white and all of that stuff. He probably not even American, things like that. But come on, guys. This is a sports commentator. Like, let's get real here, bro. A couple good takes don't mean you can run for president.
Podcasts and stuff like that. I'm no political aficionado. There's so much that I have to learn about the intricacies.
Then he killing me with the White House in the background, like with the presidential seal. Like, dude. This dude, that's why I'm like, he's a great entertainer, guys. He know what he be doing, though, for sure. He know how to get clicks.
Of politics and all that it entails, particularly as it pertains to dealing with people on Capitol Hill. My God, I wouldn't even know how to put a staff together as of yet. We understand that part. But what I've tried to say to many people on many, many occasions is that I'm an American citizen. I'm a voter. And what has transpired throughout the years, as far as I'm concerned, has been reprehensible.
Look, what he meant to say was, I'm an American and I'm a voter and I pay taxes and I'm a millionaire and I'm better than you and I'm on TV. This is why I can do this and you can't. That's what he really means, but okay.
I'm a believer that the American people have been played as suckers for decades, that we've allowed politicians to become career politicians, to sit up there and pad their own wallets and look out for their own self-interest, and it's been at the expense of the American people. My proof is the fact that we have a $37 trillion deficit. How is that possible? How could you possibly be doing your job and be $37 trillion in debt? How could you do that? It's really certain things are just.
We know this though, Stephen A. Smith. You're saying things that all the American people know. So does this mean you can run for president? We'll keep listening.
Very, very simplistic to me. Of course, that's not the only problem that we have, but something needs to be said. And when I say what I said, people can dismiss it all they want to, because I have no desire to be a politician. I'm sincere with that. I just signed a multi-year contract extension with ESPN that will pay me exponentially more than being a politician would ever pay me.
There you go, guys. You see what I'm saying? I just signed a multi-millionaire with ESPN. I have money. You don't. But I won't count it out for running for president. Like, man, this is a joke, bro. This is a joke. You just want to stroke your ego and get clicks, man. Come on.
I don't need politics. But the fact is that our country is in a very, very bad spot. And when I'm perceived as somebody that is excoriating the left and favoring the right, those people don't know what they're talking about, but I understand where their animus towards me comes from. It comes from a place of me constantly pointing the finger at the Democratic Party, because the Republican Party, the GOP, as far as I was concerned, until the latest election, they had given up on the Black community years ago. Let me reiterate, or remind you rather, what has transpired. Since 1964, when civil rights legislation came into effect, there was a president by the name of Lyndon B. Johnson who had succeeded President John F. Kennedy, who was assassinated in 1963. And even though you have both Republicans and Democrats in both houses of Congress pushing for civil rights legislation, there were adversaries to that. And Lyndon B. Johnson said, if we push this through, we will have the Negroes voting for us for the next 200 years. I'm paraphrasing, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty close to that quote. Well, lo and behold, what has happened since then? The Democratic Party has spent the last 55 plus.
And you're one of them, though. See, here's the thing. You can't say quotes like this when you're a Democrat. It hits better when you're a Republican. But when you vote for Kamala Harris and when you vote for Joe Biden, but you simultaneously know that what your vote was wrong, and then you put it on television and say, oh, I regret my vote. Honestly, I don't even think this guy voted for Kamala Harris, guys. That's what I'm like. This guy is a joke. This guy is an actual joke. You know that you voted for Kamala Harris, but you know you didn't want it, but you know you didn't want to because you think you owe your vote to the Democratic Party. If you know these things, then why did you vote for Kamala Harris? Look. People with real sense are going to ask these questions. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of people probably don't know that Stephen A. voted for Kamala Harris. You're criticizing the Democratic Party. You're doing this, you're doing that. But you're saying you're not political at the same time, but you talk about politics. So that's kind of contradictory in itself. But I don't know. Let's just keep going, guys.
Years receiving the Black vote. So what did we do? We were transparent in our support for one party, giving them a license to take us for granted. And we alienated the other party who naturally assumed.
I'm sorry, I keep pausing it. It's just so hard to take this dude seriously knowing that he voted for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. It's just hard. He never voted for Trump. He never, he's not center, left, or he's the left. He's with the left, guys. He's with ESPN. They promote things like Black Lives Matter. The NBA, they promote things like Black Lives Matter. That's a terrorist group. He's literally with the left. Come on, guys.
Assumed they'd have no shot at getting our votes. And as a result, as a community, for the most part, we were disenfranchised, which speaks to some of the problems that we have had. I only bring that up to say it is legitimate when I look at the Democratic Party and I have an attitude because I'm looking at you and I'm saying, how the hell did you forget about us? The Black community makes up nearly 14% of the population. The Hispanic community makes up nearly 20% of the population.
It's not 14, but okay.
Census Bureau report shows that by the year 2030, about problems that really didn't address what really existed in our communities. We had a president of Barack Obama who quietly, adroitly, skillfully went about the business of patrolling our borders and making sure that immigration issues were addressed absent comprehensive immigration reform. What does Joe Biden do? He goes into office.
And then a lot of people fail to realize that Obama, he deported, I believe, over 3 million illegal immigrants. Trump only deported like what? Almost 2 million? Almost 2 million. Probably not even that though. But people never criticized Obama for doing it. So why was you guys all on Trump coattail when he was running for president doing it? And that's the contradictory I'll be talking about. But Stephen A., he knows this, or quote unquote knows this, and will still vote for Kamala Harris. And this is why you just can't trust these people.
And he says, open the damn borders. And over 12 million undocumented immigrants cross the borders.
And then he says, I would eat these other candidates alive. Which candidates, by the way? I want to know, like, can you name drop? Because I would love to know. So we can do a comparison, right? Like, which candidates, like, would you eat alive? Like, who?
All contributing to our problems. Why shouldn't I have an attitude? Why shouldn't I look at that and say, it's a problem. You forgot about us. Why shouldn't I look at you? And
that's because you too focused on the Black community and not Americans, bro. You're not focused on all Americans. You just keep focusing on bliggity black. See, but that's because that's what they want you to say because you work for the NBA. Let's just be honest, bro. You work for the NBA, bro. They're a predominantly Black business. There are more Black people in the NBA than any race, bro. You have to say things like this. But like I said, it's just my opinion.
I heard you talk about, think about the sound bites we saw. And I'm going to get to the Republicans in a second because we all know Trump and his tariffs is a problem right now. But I'll get to that in a second.
They're actually not. I mean, yeah, we're going to face a deficit right now, but ultimately it's going to bring us more money. But that's what I'm saying. We're going to explain that later, guys, in a later live because I'm going to go live later on.
What do we see? We saw Biden in office. We saw him clearly debilitated. Every 80-plus-year-old is not as debilitated as he appeared, but he did appear that way. Yet we saw Democratic politicians standing on Capitol Hill chanting 4 more years. We now learned how we was religiously lied to about his state of mind and his capabilities. We saw Chuck Schumer lied up.
Yet you voted Kamala. You feel what I'm saying? Is he gonna bring up the fact that he still voted for Kamala Harris? I will hope so, because I would love to see what he say about that.
Us. We saw a plethora of politicians on the left trying to defend and support him, only to throw him by the wayside after the debate on June 27th. And the very person in Kamala Harris, who I respect as our former vice president, became the Democratic nominee. All of a sudden, the same woman that couldn't make it to the Iowa caucuses in 2020 was a rock star. And if we didn't all buy in, we were misogynist.
She was a DEI hire, by the way.
I got something that'll cheer you up, Jack.
I can't stand Stephen A. I just can't stand Stephen A., man. This dude is just a grifter, bro. I just can't do it. He honestly is just a joke, bro. I don't know who takes this dude seriously, but man, they got to stop. And if you calling out candidates, name the candidates. Like who? There are a lot of candidates right now that will potentially run in 2028. We talking AOC. We talking probably Michelle Obama. Like, call them out.
Anything you could come up with. Anti-women. We were racist. We were all anything you could. We were anti-women. We were racist. We were all anything you could come up with. You heard it over and over and over again. That is where my disgust comes from when it comes to the left. When I say they forgot about us. They forgot about it's the economy, stupid. They forgot about if people have money in their pockets and they're living fruitful lives, that they have something to lose. And as a result, from a societal perspective, people will act better. Because if you have something to lose, guess what? You ain't trying to lose it. You're not trying to lose it. Why do I bring up loss? Why is it appropriate at this particular moment in time? Because we've got these tariffs, these tariff wars going on. And there are some people, particularly on the side.
They're losing the tariff war right now, especially China. Look, China is feeling it right now, guys. Trust me. But like I said, we're going to get to that later.
Out of Trump, they are all in support of tariffs. Let me be the first to say this about Donald Trump. I support tariffs. I have no problem with it.
So what are you talking about then? You literally just, bro, am I tripping? Did he not just say I have a problem with this tariff thing? Am I tripping? This dude, this is why anybody that watches this guy with open eyes that's not like drunk or high off their mind would just know off the bat that what is this dude talking about? This dude is literally just talking at this point. What are you talking about? You literally just said you're not supportive of tariffs, but now you are? Huh?
Out of Trump, they are all in support of tariffs. Let me be the first to say this about Donald Trump. I support tariffs. I have no problem with it. I do believe that the United States has been paying too much money.
This dude is they gotta let me pass this one time. This dude is retarded. This dude is absolutely retarded, bro. Absolutely retarded, because he literally just said that he doesn't support the tariff thing, but now you do?
About Donald Trump.
Okay, let's just keep going.
And something needs to be done about it. You go to foreign countries, you see people, they talk about how you don't see American vehicles. You don't see American products nearly as much as you see other products from other nations. This is what they say. If that is true, then Trump is right. We are getting hosed, and something needs to be done about it. I am not averse to Donald Trump with tariffs. What I'm averse to is how he's handling it. I'm averse to the fact that you're going to go after everybody.
Okay.
I'm averse.
Because everybody is after us, you dummy. Everybody's after us, bro. Look at NATO. Look at examples like NATO. Everybody is getting over on us. What are you talking about? Is he stupid? What are you talking about? You're going after everybody because everybody is after us. How do you think the rest of the world makes their money? They make their money off of us, bro. We are the number one consumers. What is wrong with you? All right, whatever.
First, to the fact that you didn't anticipate that China would come back with 34% tariffs of their own, and in the process of doing so,
and they're caving in. It's not working. You feel what I'm saying? You see how he just be talking? You know what? I'm gonna have to bring the numbers in later on, guys.
So,
I'm sorry.
Would set up meetings with allies of the United States that are now threatening not to be allies because they had tariffs imposed on them by Trump. And now because of that, they're turning against the United States and to China. Now, only time will tell whether Trump's right. Only time will tell whether or not we're going to find ourselves in a disastrous situation, whether recession is in place right now, whether inflation is going to boom. Only time will tell, but it's a short time. I don't want to hear a year. I don't want to hear 2 years. We can't afford that.
See, and here's the thing, guys. Like I said earlier, this dude can barely get a finals prediction right. Why the hell would I trust this dude to run the country? Let's say Stephen A. Smith does win potentially. Has he even asked himself that? What will you do for the country? What do you mean I've had no choice but to think about it? Think about running the country and doing what exactly for what? What are you going to do? You seriously think you think these foreign leaders are going to be scared of a sports commentator? Are you kidding me? This has to be, and this is just somebody like, I don't know who said this in the comments, but this dude is just in over his head, man. This dude ego is like just like a big old balloon, dude. Like, just sit down somewhere and talk about sports. You're a sports commentator. Like I said earlier, all this video just proves to me it's just proving more and more that he's an egotistical jerk. Yeah, I get a couple. First of all, you get your talking points from Sean Hannity. We all know this from the right, and from the left, you get your talking points from Chris Cuomo. Okay, dude, we understand. You get both sides from both perspectives and things like that. And you say it on your show, you say it on ESPN, whatever the case may be, who cares? Okay, you get a couple good talking points, right? And then you heard him earlier say, yeah, I just signed a multi-millionaire contract with ESPN. So yes, I'm qualified to now run for president now. Like, dude, first of all, no, you're not, because you can barely get a finals prediction right, which is your actual job. But dude, come on, man. Let's be real. Stephen A. Smith is president, and then he's gonna run as a Democrat. How big of a joke would that be? You feel what I'm saying? Like, this is a joke. This is a joke, man.
Why do I bring all of this up? Because all of this is the kind of stuff that made me say what I said yesterday at the National Association for Broadcasters Convention. Because enough's enough. I don't want to do this. My hope is that politicians who are
That's the thumbnail, guys. I promise you that's going to be the thumbnail. You see what I'm saying? Just the egotistical jerk, man. Like, anybody with eyes can see this.
who are centrist, who think about the economy, who think about...
I'm sorry, I can't get over these pictures, man. This is hilarious. This is actually hilarious, man. This
being
is
humane,
actually hilarious.
Who think about small businesses, who think about education, who think about our borders, who think about our national security.
This is crazy. Hey, have you guys seeing this, man? This is hilarious.
Coalesce with one another. Engage in common sense thinking and come to conclusions so somebody like me isn't necessary. You want to talk about Donald Trump and a potential third term? Well, you want to circumvent the 22nd Amendment of the U.S. Constitution?
Man, can y'all please cut it out with that crap, bro? Trump is not going to have a third term. Like, this is what I be saying. Like, and this is where we're getting back. This is when his TDS start to kick in, you know what I'm saying? His little inner blood Democrat starts to kick in a little bit. Because it's like, bro, a third term is impossible, bro. What are you talking about? We all know that that's not going to happen. Like, be quiet, Stephen A. This is what I'm saying, bro. Oh, I can't wait for this to be over with. I can't with Stephen A. Smith.
And Donald Trump ends up running for a third term, Stephen A. Smith will happily invite Barack Obama back into the mix. I think he'll beat Donald Trump. Yes, I said it.
No, he won't. See, this how out of touch. Oh, my God. This dude just... Stephen A. Smith. No, he won't. No, he will not, man. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, there's rumors that Barack Hussein Obama might not even be American. I'm not going to touch on that a lot, but I'm just going to say that rumors, you know what I'm saying? It might be true, might not be true. We're just going to say that for YouTube, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, his birth certificate is questionable, guys. We're just going to say his birth certificate is very, very questionable. I believe it could be edited, I believe. So, you know, we're just going to keep that into consideration. And then when you seen him in 2024 when he was talking to the young black man, I know you saw it, Stephen A. That's what I'm saying. Like, this dude is a moron. If you didn't see those black men in that room, you could tell that they were not satisfied with Barack Obama when he was telling them, oh, you need to stay in the Democratic Party because you black. You a black man. I don't like how y'all don't want to vote for a woman. I don't like how y'all don't want to vote for a woman who's black, who we trying to pretend to be black, but's not really black, but I'm mad because y'all don't want to vote for her. Like, what, dude? You think that's gonna work? Do you really think that's going to work? Honestly, now that and that's what I'm saying, like, he's the one, the Democrats, they're the one that's, oh, I would happily put Barack Obama up. Dude, nobody wants Trump to have a third term. We want to keep the Constitution. You guys are the ones that's promoting this. I've never even heard nobody talk about a third term with Donald Trump. I've heard rumors when it comes to some leftist garbage, but nothing from an actual Trump cabin. Like, what's wrong with these people?
Because I think at his core, regardless of what people want to say about how he governed, I think he's a centrist individual. It's just that both sides were polar opposites against one another. I am not oblivious to the fact that since Obama was in office, there was a white backlash that took place. I am not oblivious to the fact that that made folks hunker down and be even more divided than ever before. I get it. I understand it. That black man in office spewing liberal policies, telling folks they got to get to the back because they lost the election, that this is our time, fall back, we running the show now, and the boldness. And
when did he say that?
How emboldened he felt because he was the president of the United States, how much that turned folks off and made them more resolute in going against him. Yeah. And as a result, we were even more divided as a nation than ever before. I get that. Mm-hmm. I remember the joke that Cat Williams once told. God damn, effing up the country is what it done. Goddamn entitlements. Go watch Cat Williams talking about how folks were feeling about Obama during his presidency, who weren't black.
And here's the thing, though. Yeah, y'all can say all this, that, and the third, but y'all still voting for him, though. Y'all can complain this. Twice. This guy had 2 terms back to back. So how is this country racist again? Please tell me. Like, please, you got to make it make sense, guys.
The flip side to it, however, is that it's not about black or white anymore. It's about America. Just like a rising tide lifts all boats, as a nation, we're only as strongest as our weakest link. And if you have the weak and the desolate amongst us and you're doing nothing for them and you're leaving them out to pasture, where does that leave us? See, when I think about the Republicans, I think the Republicans are asking us, particularly Trump, trust me. And by the way, he's in a position to do it because he won the popular vote. He won the electoral college vote. He won every swing state. He won both houses of Congress. He's got a majority 6-3 in the Supreme Court. I mean, damn. Americans didn't just give it to him. He took it because he recognized what the left wasn't doing. They were preoccupied with nonsense.
Stop. I hate that he's saying they. Don't you mean us, we? Don't you mean we? You're with the left, bro. Well, I hate that this dude is not centered. This dude is not center left, bro, at all. Please don't let him fool you guys. He has to talk about basketball, for crying out loud. I mean, you know, LeBron James and all them people that support Black Lives Matter and this, that, and the third, they predominantly are black.
You want to ask why Stephen A. Smith felt the need to speak up at the NAB conference? Let me ask y'all this question. We supposed to leave it to Bernie Sanders and AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? We're supposed to leave it with individuals that will tell you that it's perfectly okay to tax 70% of your money?
So how about you open a debate with AOC and see how that works, man. Because I would love to see that debate between AOC and Stephen A. Smith. Put it in the chat, guys. Would y'all love to see it?
Not that they gave out that number. I'm just speculating because of how socialistic they are in their
Bernie Sanders.
We supposed to say that? That's okay. Y'all okay with that? You okay with going to work and making $100 and walking home with 30? You sure about that? Are you cool with it? Just tell me. Because these are the kind of questions that we have to ask ourselves. That is why I spoke up. I am an independent. That's who I am.
No, you're not. You are not an independent. If you were independent, you would have voted for Trump this year, dude. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it was the common sense party, dude. It was the right party to vote for this year, whether you were centered, whether you're Republican, or I should even say a Democrat. Dude, our country was in danger. These illegals were taking over all of the states in our country. And then they're getting all of our funding on top of that, on top of the foreign wars that's going on. When it comes to I don't want to get into Ukraine and Russia thing like that. You already know how YouTube gets. You know, when it comes to, I'm not even going to say Gaza. I'm just going to say Hamas and, Israel, or the IDF, I should say. Like, it was a lot going on. So we knew that Joe Biden was doing a terrible, terrible job. You knew this too, Stephen A. Smith. And here's the thing when it comes to why I just think you're an idiot, because you claim you're an independent, like he just said he's an independent, right? But you knew all of these things that were going on in the country that you claim, like you're bragging off about AOC and Bernie Sanders and this, that, and the third. Yet you voted for Kamala Harris, and then you come out and say, oh, I regretted my vote. So why did you vote for her in the first place? You're an idiot. What are you talking about, bro? Can't even be satisfied with your finals pick, let alone.
I'm not on either side. I'm not on both sides. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm creating my own lane. I have no desire to be on either side.
Whatever.
Donald Trump has his acolytes. He has his surrogates. He has people in the bullpen. It could be a Marco Rubio. It could be a J.D. Vance. It could be somebody that we don't even know coming from the Republican Party. I sincerely doubt it's Marjorie Taylor Greene. I can tell you that much. But they got people on the right.
What are you? Okay, now.
That's why everybody talks about me on the left.
Shout out Marjorie Taylor Greene, man. I don't know what he's talking about.
It's not just because I voted Democrat and I voted for Kamala Harris.
Yeah, let's get to that part. I'm glad you brought that up. So if you know all these things, why did you vote for Kamala Harris? Why did you do that?
It's because that's the side I see myself on. But you're kind of wrong about that too, because I don't.
Wait a minute. Let's go back.
But they got people on the right. That's why everybody talks about me on the left. It's not just because I voted Democrat and I voted for Kamala Harris. It's because that's the side I see myself on. But you're kind of wrong about that too, because I don't.
So why did you? You're caught like this dude, just like this dude is like, yes, no, no, yes. Like, what are you talking about? It's either yes or no, bro. Dude, this dude is crazy. Who takes this guy seriously? Anybody with common sense would immediately turn this off. The only reason why I'm watching this is because I'm watching this with you guys. And I just want your take on Stephen A. Smith potentially thinking he gonna run for president of the United States. But this is why he could never do it, because he contradicts himself just like any other politician. You're not even a politician yet. You're talking like a politician at the same time. That's crazy to me.
When I think about me,
and
I think about me running for president of the United States, let me re-emphasize that I am woefully unqualified. But a lot of people say so is he. And you put him in.
Oh my gosh, bro. This dude. I'm sorry. I just can't with the contradictory, guys. He just keep contradicting. Yeah, this is fake. I'm starting to think this is fake. I just think he just did this for clicks. I think we just got scammed, guys. I literally think we just got scammed. He just said he's not qualified. What do you mean? So isn't that guy? Who are you talking about? Who?
But a lot of people say so is he, and you put him in.
Who?
A lot of people look at his cabinet members and the positions he has them in.
Are you talking about Donald Trump? What are you talking about, bro? He was more than qualified. He already won. First of all, Stephen A. Smith is forgetting that Donald Trump was already president of the United States. You were never the president, Stephen A. You see what I'm saying? Like, this dude is just crazy. This dude is crazy, man.
They're there. Let me tell you something about Stephen A. Smith. Let me get this out of the way. Again, I would create a new lane. I'd be a centrist.
No, you wouldn't, bro, because you wouldn't have your job. They would fire you. They would fire you if you was a true centrist, bro. I'm telling you, because that means you would. Honestly, there is no playing both sides of the fence. So shout out Blexit when it comes to that, because it's absolutely true. You can't, bro. It's either good or evil, bro. You got to pick one side. We know what the Democrats are. They promote violence. They promote hate. They promote division. Come on, Stephen A. Smith. What are you talking about? And that's what you voted for. You feel what I'm saying? So help me understand.
Not quite like Clinton having to be dragged by Newt Gingrich to work with the right so you can ultimately leave office with a surplus. I would have done so voluntarily. I want to work with both sides of the aisle. I'd have Democrats and Republicans in my cabinet. They would be the ones butting heads and fighting, but their mandate would be to come to me with an idea that works for America. No one can have everything. In other words, I'm building a coalition. That's what I would want to do. Not just a stance. That wouldn't be me. One of my friends wrote notes for me and stuff like that because he was on and out. Man, if you were running for president, man, this is what you should be. Some things he said that were right. Some things he said that were wrong. Because it's amazing, no matter how much I'm on television, no matter how much I'm in the public eye, people still don't know who the hell I am. So let me give you an idea of who that person is.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to stay serious. I promise you guys I'm trying to stay serious. But this is just a joke. This is straight comedy.
It's about problem solving. It's about fixing the issues that really, really matter. It's about caring about all of America, not just a segment of our population. It's about all of those things. You know who I am, just like you know who Donald Trump is. That's the problem with the Democratic Party. You don't know who the hell they are, and you don't know who their leader, who can lead them. You don't have any clue. I think a guy like Westmore out of Maryland could do it. I think a guy like Josh Shapiro out of Pennsylvania could do it. But we all know they'll have their critics. From a national perspective, you talk about Westmore as a governor of Maryland, Josh Shapiro as a governor of Pennsylvania. Okay, those are localized individuals. Andrew Cuomo's trying to come back as mayor of New York. He was about to be a fourth-term governor in New York before his troubles invaded the proceedings and he was booted out of office. He had to resign from office, and now he's trying to make a comeback. Of course, there are individuals as professional politics who are far more qualified than me. But haven't y'all been paying attention? The American people clearly don't want politicians. They don't mind having a populist in the White House. They don't mind having somebody that they can lean towards and they can say, at least we know him. At least we trust that he's going to be who he is. You might not like Donald Trump with the tariffs. He told you he was going to do it. Some people might not like what Donald Trump is doing with the borders, but from a 95 percentile success rate, they say he's doing his job with the borders.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. It ain't been no illegals going through that border like that. Oh, I honestly would say it's higher than 95.
Inflation is still an issue. A recession is
thanks to Joe Biden because he's ruined the economy for 4 straight years.
In play, if not on its way. So certainly there are things that he hasn't done.
Why are they acting like Donald Trump has been in office for like 2-3 years already? He literally he honestly just got his seat in January. It's April. What do you mean inflation is this is how you know Stephen A is just an asshat. This dude is just he's a fucking moron. This is how you know he's just dumb. The guy has only been in office for what, 4 months? Not even 4 months yet? Probably like around 4 months now. So what are you talking about? Inflation's still an issue. Give it time. What is wrong with you people? I can see if it's been a year. What is wrong with this dude?
But he's asking you to give him time because he's got to fight with these people. The war in Ukraine with Russia, we don't like the fact that it seems like he's siding with Russia. But what his people are saying is, wait a minute, do you want World War III? Bottom line, we're trying to stop all of this stuff. I look at Russia, I think they're trying to take control of Europe. I look at China, they're making footprints, they're gaining footprints in Africa and other places in the world. Why? Because they're looking for minerals. They want to make sure they take care of their own people.
Wait a minute. Hold on. They say, so what do y'all want for the Dems? A strong cuckoo person? Let's pay attention and back a sure loser? I say let Stephen A. cook. Man, she must not know who Stephen A. Smith is. This dude can't even get a finals prediction right. He's a sports analyst. He can barely do his job. He cannot run the country. Please stop. Please. He can't cook. Not in this kitchen. And I'm a Republican, so I don't care what the Democrats do, in my opinion. If they do go with him, go right ahead. I mean, yeah.
Amongst other things that they want to do. These people are not pro-America. They're anti-America. We understand they're the enemy. But what are we going to do about it? At some point in time, you got to ask yourself these questions. I don't want to come across as somebody who's trying to engage in some kind of war over identity politics. Maybe I have to monitor my tone. And that's fair. But when I think about me and what I want to do, I want you to know that I'm somebody who rejects party extremes. I'm not interested in that. I am a law and order dude. Make no mistake about that. You commit crimes, your ass gonna be in jail if I was in control. I will throw your ass in jail in a heartbeat. I don't like criminals. I don't like people who scare the public from living their normal lives. National security is a big deal with me. Trade, as opposed to trade wars, are a big deal to me. Immigration, I tell you this right now. See, crazy as it sounds. Outside of the criminals, because we don't need lawless. First of all, lawless Americans should be in jail, and lawless people who ain't Americans should be out of the country.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you see how he had to start off with talking about Americans? That gives me a big ass red flag when it comes to Stephen A. Smith, man. You can't even talk about the illegal criminals first. You got to talk about criminals in America first. You feel what I'm saying? This is how you know. See, picking up on these little things, guys, these little itty-bitty things, just let me know what this guy truly is. Anybody with a brain can pick these things off.
The country. Outside of them, guess what I'm doing, ladies and gentlemen? I'm not throwing anybody out of the country. I'm not deporting anybody. You know what I'm doing? Outside of those criminals, I'm leaving others alone. But the border's shut down. Nobody comes in. Nobody.
So let's say he is debating somebody right now. Is this his take? Is this his take? You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. Listen, man. You talking about you not kicking nobody out, but the border shut down. Bro, you do realize if they cross the border illegally, that makes them a criminal within itself, right? You are an illegal alien in our country. That means you are a criminal by default, though. Like, I don't get what people don't understand when it comes to that. If you cross the country illegally in America, that makes you a criminal by default. By default, though. That means you are a criminal now. If you cross the border illegally. Or am I missing something?
Until we get our house in order. For at least the first year. Shutting it down. Got a year, got to get our house in order. That's how I look at it. I'm saying all of this to say, while I'm no aficionado, I'm not completely lost and oblivious to the problems that are pervasive in our country. It matters to me. I want to make sure that it matters to you. And I want to make sure that you understand that in the process of us doing these things, we got to do better. We just have to. I'm thinking about some stuff that I wrote down. 4-tier flat tax. The top 1%. Making $200,000 or so. I'm looking at it from the standpoint that, why do I support a flat tax? I'm tired of you coming to me and one day it's 33, another way is 35, another way is 39% of my money that you could take as the federal government. Nah. Why can't you take 27%? Let's just throw that out. Workers 55 years and younger can diversify a percentage of their income from Social Security. One of my boys gave me that idea. I kind of like that. How about Congress only being allowed to spend 30% of tax revenue?
2020 riots, or
how about them being forced to sit in the nation's capital and actually work for the American people instead of themselves?
Nope.
I'm still baffled as to how you can be a congressional figure or a Senate figure, and you may have entered the nation's capital with debt. But now when you look at your financial portfolio, it might be worth millions. What's going on there? I don't understand that. And then I look at a $37 trillion debt. Am I supposed to believe?
Like, don't get me wrong. He is spitting like some facts when it comes to the Democratic Party, but it contradicts his actions, though. See, actions speak louder than words. See, he's a yeller and he's a screamer and he's a talker, but he one of those people that'll do a lot of talking, but behind closed doors, he's doing the exact opposite. I know people like Stephen A. Smith. I listen, man. People like Stephen A. Smith are grifters, bro. They don't have a side. They go where the money is. They go where the attention is. They go where the relevance. They go where where you can become more relevant, basically. So it's like, don't trust people like Stephen A. Smith.
That we're just spending willy-nilly on all of these things and no money is coming into your pockets as politicians? What's the number one reason I tell you, outside of being private and not wanting stress in my life, as to why I'm not interested in politics? It's because I'm getting paid. And what I'm getting paid.
You see how it always come down to the money, which is why this is what I'm saying, man. His ego is just leaking out his head and he don't even know it. I'm getting paid. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, we know you're Stephen A. Smith. Okay, you don't have to like keep on announcing that like it's breaking news.
Politics ain't gonna pay me. That's my position. And then I look at some of these reports of what politicians are worth. I'm not gonna mention any names. But we got politicians that were in debt, that were paying student loans. We got politicians that didn't have but so much money. Their net worth was in the thousands, and now it's millions? How? I'm just saying.
Yeah, Stephen A. How? It's called money laundering. Okay, buddy? You never heard of that? I mean, it's clearly not mark. I mean, like, think about it. A politician doesn't really make that much money. It's coming through the taxpayer dollars, Stephen A. Smith. What do you mean?
By the way, one of my boys gave me this idea. Congress and Senate only in D.C. 2 weeks per quarter to vote. Reduce the cost. What the hell you living in D.C. for? For what? You ain't doing no work. Just a suggestion. All I'm saying is that as you look at these things and you look at me, I am very sincere when I tell you I have no desire to be a politician. I have no interest. But I have been asked by folks in the business world, folks in corporate America, folks on Capitol Hill, plus folks who are friends of mine, to strongly reconsider and to at least leave.
That's because the Democrats are desperate, bro. That should tell you that the Democratic Party are fairly desperate when they have to go to sport commentators. Do you realize this, Stephen A? I don't even understand, like, how is this even real? You're saying people from Capitol Hill are calling you to say reconsider running for president? If that don't say that we are super duper desperate right now for black people to come back to the Democratic Party, I don't know what does, guys. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Leave the door open to the possibilities, because you never know what state our country could be in the next 3 years or so. Stephen A., just don't shut the door. Just don't shut the door. Please, just don't shut the door. That's all I was saying yesterday. But what I want y'all to understand is that I had every right to say it. It was necessary because of everything going on. Not just in our nation's capital with this tariffs war, but also how helpless the Democratic side is to do anything about it. All they can do is complain for the moment. Nothing else. They don't have the seats.
Yeah.
And we want to rave about Cory Booker, who...
Listen, he can do whatever he wants. You know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking on his qualifications when it comes to him running for president. But listen, if he gonna cook the Democrats and all that, look, let him. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna call him out, let him call him out. You know, I'm not gonna stop him doing that. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong now. But let's just be honest here. You're gonna be no better than them.
Who we respect, speaking on the floor in the U.S. House for 25 hours plus. But what are we really empowered to do? The party isn't empowered. So it comes down to the people. And one of the people spoke up. That's all. Just want to let y'all know where I'm at.
So why did you just say that in the beginning? You feel what I'm saying? So why did you go on this whole rant on saying that you think you can run for president? You think you better than AOC and Bernie Sanders? So that's what I'm saying. So was all of that just for entertainment purposes? That's what I'm like. I feel like I just got scammed. Why do I feel like I just got scammed, guys? Do anybody feel scammed right now?
Not interested in running. Hope it doesn't come to that.
Oh my God. Okay.
But I was told I owe it to all of us to at least leave the door open. That's what I did. By the way, this Sunday, I'm scheduled to be on This Week with George Stephanopoulos on ABC. And practically every other network is called. They're apparently taking it very seriously. So I have no choice but to do so.
Man.
It just comes down to that. It just comes down to that. Coming up.
Okay, so I think that's the end of that, guys. I'm gonna be honest, guys. This was hilarious. What we like? Yep, that's an hour. Yeah, it was like a fairly good hour when it come to this. This was honestly just a big waste of time. Stephen A. Smith, definitely not qualified. He even said it himself, but then he said he is qualified. He said he voted for Kamala, but he doesn't agree with her policies. He said he doesn't like Trump, but he agree with tariffs, but he don't agree with tariffs. Like, dude, what is going on here? You're yes, no is hell. Yes, so, yes, no, maybe so is hell, dude. Something is actually wrong with this guy. And that's what I'm saying. You don't have a stance. You don't really fight for anything, Stephen A. Smith. You don't really have okay, you talk about things that all Americans talk about, big whoop, and you got millionaire. You're a millionaire. Okay, congratulations, bro. That means you should run for president. I mean, hey, I'm not saying he can't do it, but the thing is, like, when it comes to people like Stephen A. Smith, he's gonna be no better. Yeah, he's gonna talk his mess and do this, that, and the third, but behind closed doors, he's going to do the same thing that these other Democrats do, which is what do you do? Vote for Kamala Harris, voted for Joe Biden? Like, come on, man. Give me a break. like I said, big waste of time. I'm not buying it. Anybody with a brain isn't buying it. And like I said before, this dude can't even get a finals prediction right. Can't even predict the finals right. That's what I'm like. Your job as a sports commentator is to predict the finals. And you can't even do that right, dude. I believe he's like what? How long has he been doing this? If we look, hold on. Let me just look this up on a different screen. Cuz I want to see his record. Stephen A. Finals prediction. Hold on. Stephen A. Finals predictions. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Stephen A. Smith is 4-8 in finals predictions. So out of 12 finals, he only got 4 right. That is insanity. Come on, man. And y'all think this dude should be the president. Out of 12 finals, this dude got 4 right. No way. No way. He didn't even he's lower than half. No way. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for tuning into the live. I really do appreciate it. If you guys would hit that like and subscribe button, I would really appreciate it a lot. Tune in later on, guys, because we are going to be talking about Trump and his tariffs and how they are benefiting America. I know you're hearing a lot of talk about how the tariffs, are hurting us and how China has a 38% tariff on America and that hurt us a lot and this, that, and the third. And I'm going to basically break it down to you guys later on how tariffs, it's going to cause a deficit at the moment, but in the long run, because people are forgetting that Trump has only been in office for not even like half a year yet. So we don't even got a full year out of Trump yet. So we're going to actually see how these tariffs benefit America, and it doesn't hurt us at all. And they're going to continue to benefit America because we're going to be more dependent on America-made manufacturing. But we're going to get more into that later on, guys. So if you guys don't mind, please hit that like and subscribe button. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. 4 out of 8. Yeah, that's what I'm like. You can pay me millions and I do better than that. This dude literally gets millions to scream and yell and basically talk about sports. And now he think he can run for president. That's what I'm saying. And Capitol Hill, he claims, called him and said, oh, please don't, just please consider it. Like, come on, bro. Look this dude up and you can tell that he's not qualified. That's what I'm like. Not even 3 months. That's what I'm like. That's what I'm saying. So we got to give it time. But thank you guys for joining the live stream. And I will see you guys later on when we talk about these tariffs. I'm out of here. Peace.